What's going on, DJBooth.net? This is Kareem here, and I'm in the lab to give you guys a quick review video of the new Pioneer DDJ SB. This is the intro level or the entry level controller for the Pioneer DDJ lineup from the digital DJ controller range of Pioneer. And it is also like an intro level controller that comes with Serato DJ Intro, which is the base level software that people can use with the unit in order to start DJing right directly out of the box. So what we have is a similar layout to what we see on the upper echelon of the DDJ range, including the DDJ SR, the DDJ SX, and the newly announced DDJ SZ, which is their huge flagship controller. You have a lot of similarities here, though. You have aluminum top jog wheels that are really nice for the Serato DJ lineup and the Pioneer DDJ lineup as well. You also have the 16 performance pads here. These performance pads are a little bit different from those that are found on the DDJ SR and the SZ, but we'll get to that in a minute. They still have the same familiar layout and the same stance, so it can get you really ready to use those bigger controllers, and it's a good introductory controller to use in order to facilitate your move up to the higher range controllers such as the SR, the SZ, or the SX. So what we're going to do first is talk about the build quality and the setup. The build quality overall is okay. It's mostly made up of thinner plastics than that of the SZ and the SX and the SB, of course. But that is to cut down on weight and, of course, to save on the price. Again, it's $250 directly out of the store. So you have a all plastic chassis, which you should protect if you're going to take it with you on the road, or if you're going to be traveling with it, or even in storage, just in case you want to have some type of bag or a case for it, which will work nicely for your protection. Next up, you have your 16 performance pads. These all light up an amber type color. One color, they're not RGB. They are just one color, but you do have them here, and they are tactile, and we'll get to that when we get to the deck functions. But overall, decent build quality. You're going to want something in order to protect it when the time comes. Setup is fairly easy. You get a Serato DJ Intro software, and you get also the firmware for your computer, or the drivers for your computer, right on the disc that comes in the DDJ SB box. And you can also go to the Pioneer DJ website to get the drivers there, or you can go over to the Serato DJ website and you can download Intro there as well. And once you have it all loaded up on the computer, it's pretty much plug and play like with any Serato DJ Intro controller. You just plug in your USB, you plug in your RCAs on the back. We'll show you all the inputs and outputs in a second. Plug in your headphones and microphone on the side, and you're pretty much ready to play back the music that you have on your computer in Serato DJ Intro. So we'll take a deep dive and show you exactly what the Pioneer DDJ SB has to offer. Okay, so first up, we're going to show you the connections on the rear panel. You have a RCA master out. That's all you get, so you can plug in your speakers or your amp or however you're going to distribute your sound. Then you have the Kensington lock, so you can lock it down. And then, of course, you have the USB port. This is a USB powered DJ controller, meaning you don't have any power that you need here. Just plug it into your USB port and you have all the power you need. Next up, we have the side panel. And the side panel has your microphone TRS input, and you also have a microphone volume control knob, and then you have your two flavors of ports for your headphones. Alright, so here it is. This is the Pioneer DDJ SB. Again, this is the intro level controller from Pioneer DJ. You remember about a year or so ago we reviewed the DDJ WeGo, and that was their entry-level controller. That now works with iOS devices, and this one does not. So they do still have a difference, and they have a difference in purpose. This is more geared toward a DJ that wants to maybe one day upgrade to the DDJ SR, the DDJ SX, or the SZ. And this is a really good platform to start that in because you have the similar layout, the similar feel, the similar Pioneer characteristics of the bigger brother DDJ lineup. So this comes bundled with Serato DJ Intro, and you can upgrade to the full Serato DJ version for $129 extra, and you'll get all of the different functions that you see listed in red here. So you have different functions that are associated with other functions and buttons that you can shift to, but they're only active when you purchase the full Serato DJ. Those functions include hot cues 5 through 8, meaning Serato DJ only gives you hot cues 1 through 4. So if you want access to all 8 hot cues, you got to upgrade. You also have to upgrade if you want to do a loop roll, like if you want to roll and use a slip type function with your loops at the same time on the pads, you have to upgrade for that. There's also hot loop, which makes your hot cues turn into really easy to trigger loops as well. And then you have your sample banks, and you get more access to more banks, and you also get more effects. You also get access to slip mode. So you need to upgrade in order to get some of your different features and functions. But if you're really going to upgrade, you might want to also look at the DDJ SR, which already comes bundled with Serato DJ, and it has a more full, more professional style experience. But the option to upgrade is always here. So first up, we're just going to take a quick look at the mixing portion, the mixing console. You have your crossfader at the bottom. It's nice and loose. It does have a plasticky feel to it, but it definitely gets the job done. You have more resistance with your line faders. They are really good for mixing and getting the accurate mix to go. You have a new function called filter fade, which will actually fade the music from one side to the other while also applying a low pass or high pass filter to the music. So it makes for a nice and easy, cool transition. So instead of using 2 hands in order to fade and to use your filter at the same time, you can do it all in one function using the filter fade option. And that's what this button does right here. There are no line level meters that you see here. There's no gain knobs at the top. You do have your 3-band low, mid, and high. You also have a filter knob, a low pass and high pass filter. You usually don't see that on controllers of this price point, but you have them here, so that's a really cool plus. You don't have, again, any way to use your gain knobs or your level meters here, so you'll have to rely on Serato DJ in order to get all your levels for mixing correct. Next up in the middle, you have your master volume level control knob that corresponds to the RCA jack on the back. Your headphones mix, either mix between cue or master, what's being played out the master or what you have queued up. These are the cue buttons that will allow you to queue up the song that's being played in your headphones. And then you have your headphone volume control down here. You have your navigation controls at the top, which allow you to load for deck A, load deck B. Again, it's a 2-channel controller. You only have 2 channels here with Serato DJ Intro. And then you have your big oversized encoder that lets you go through your songs and select tracks. Once you're highlighted the track that you want, you press load to either left or right, and that's where the track will go. Okay, next up we'll look at all of the functions of the decks. Again, you have your 16 performance pads. They're a little bit different here than on the other controllers as they share the play, pause, the cue, and the sync button and the shift button. So your bottom 4 are always set to be play, pause, cue, sync, and shift. So the top 4 buttons are the ones that you're going to use for performances. They illuminate only one color, as you can see. They're not like a RGB multicolored backlit type of button. They have a click to them, so you can actually hear the click when you press it. So they're not exactly the same as what's found on the DDJ SX or the SR, but they do work really nicely here, and you can tactilely use them in order to really drum in your hot cues and things of that nature. So you have your first button is hot cues. You have hot cues 1 to 4. Next is the auto loop, which will set a loop at the different lengths depending on which button that you press. Then you have manual loop, which will give you an in, out, exit, and you can grow and shorten the loop with the last button. Then you have your sample banks where you have access to your 4 sample banks. So we'll do a quick demonstration just so you guys can see.
Put the cars on the totem, put the balls on the boat, hit them all with the motor. Put the cars on the totem, put the cars on the totem, put the cars on the totem, put the
You got your auto loop.
hit them all with the motor, all with the all with the motor. Jordan's all in the focus and the blogs on the Jordan's all in the focus and the blogs on the Jordan's all in the focus and the blogs.
You got manual loop.
I'm a star when devoted, I'm a star when devoted, I'm a star when devoted, I'm a dog, I'm a dope.
And then your sample bank. Next up, you have the jog wheels themselves. They are the aluminum metal top jog wheels. We like them very much. They're weighted really nicely. They're very responsive. very responsive in Serato DJ and in Serato DJ Intro, and they work really nicely. You have a vinyl button over here that allows the top to be scratchable, or when you have it in non-vinyl mode, it turns this into a pitch bend style control. Next up, you have your key lock button or your tempo range, which allows you to change the range of the tempo slider. Your tempo slider is really small here. It's very plasticky, but again, at the intro price point, this is probably what you're going to see basically everywhere. Next up, you have your FX controls. You have your 3 different effects on each side. And in order to control your different effects, you have to press the button, and then your knob will now control that effect. So whatever effect you have pressed at the time is where the knob will enact the different parameter of that effect. Okay, so in conclusion, the Pioneer DDJ SB is an excellent intro or entry-level digital DJ controller for the beginner DJ, and it's also a good controller, compact controller with a nice compact footprint for those who just want something small and compact to take with them on the go. Could even be a professional DJ that already has an SZ or an SX, and they just want something small and compact to jam out with when they go maybe to a hotel room or something of that nature. It's a great price point at only $350. It comes bundled with Serato DJ Intro, which will give you access to all of the main functions and features that an entry-level DJ or maybe even most DJs need today. You also have a really good aluminum top jog wheel, which feels really nice, has a nice weight to it, and there's also a pretty good crossfader, which is accurate as well with the new filter fade mode button also. There's also the 16 performance pads that you get here that control things like hot cues, auto loops, manual loops, and sampler. This is really good for those who maybe want to upgrade one day to maybe the SR, the SZ, or another controller that has these style pads, because you won't be completely in the dark. You'll know what the pad section is pretty much all about. So on the downside though, you have the thin all plastic construction, so when you're taking it with you or if you're storing it, you're going to want some type of case or bag just to protect it. There's also a limited number of inputs and outputs. Of course, entry-level DJ controllers at this price point don't ever usually have an extra input or output, so you got your RCAs on the back and that's all you have for your speakers. And there's also no gain control knobs, or there's no line level meters, so you can see exactly where your volume is in the mix. Again, another thing that is reminiscent of most of the Serato DJ Intro or entry-level controllers is that you don't get any VU level meters for LEDs to let you know exactly what your volume is, and you don't get any trim or gain knobs, so Serato DJ Intro will adjust that on the fly for you. Other than that, again, it's a great controller, really good for beginner DJs who want to use Pioneer quality gear, and they want something that can maybe be a bridge to the upper echelon of the Pioneer controllers at a later date. So for more on the full written review, you can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.